I'm Sarah Scrivens with your headlines. The World Series is headed back to Kansas City after the Giants took down the Royals 5-0 in Game 5 last night. San Francisco pitcher Madison Bumgarner threw the first World Series shutout since Josh Beckett did it for the Marlins at Yankee Stadium in 2003. The Giants lead the series 3-2 and are one victory away from clinching their third World Series title in 5 years. Welcome into Duck TV Sports. I'm Sarah Scrivens.
And I'm Garrett Fabris. Eugene has been busy with a lot of great softball action this past weekend.
That's right. Oregon played host to the NCAA Regionals for the third year in a row. Here's a quick recap of the start of their run for the College World Series in Oklahoma City. The #1 ranked Oregon softball team is just 2 wins away from its second straight trip to the Women's College World Series. North Carolina is on the Super Regional schedule for the Ducks this weekend. Tickets for the games at Howe Field are sold out, but ESPNU will air each game live. Games will also be broadcast on KWVA 88.1 FM. Oregon and NC State start the series at 6 p.m. on Friday with a noon game to follow on Saturday. A third game, if needed, will be played at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Pitcher Sheridan Hawkins has made the final cut for the USA Softball Player of the Year award. The junior is one of 3 finalists for this year's honor. Hawkins' list of accomplishments from the mound is extensive and includes a 29-3 season record, a 1.4 ERA, and 249 strikeouts through regional play last weekend. The back-to-back Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year allows, on average, get this, just 3.27 hits per game and leads the conference in wins, ERA, and opponent batting average. Florida pitcher and first baseman Laura Hager and Michigan shortstop Sierra Romero are the other 2 finalists for the award. Another Duck gaining some attention this award season is freshman third baseman Jenna Lilly. Lilly has been named one of 3 finalists for the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association Freshman of the Year award. That's a mouthful. The Pac-12 Freshman of the Year was also a first-team all-conference selection in her rookie season. Lilly was the only Duck to start all 55 games this season, and her average, doubles, runs scored, and 36 walks are all team highs. She also has 6 home runs, 15 stolen bases, and 44 RBIs. Oklahoma pitcher Paige Parker and Alabama pitcher Alexis Osorio are the other 2 finalists. Hawkins and Lilly will learn their fate at the pre-tournament banquet during the Women's College World Series on Tuesday. Turning to Oregon baseball, the final series of the regular season is here. The Ducks hope to continue their winning ways as they take on the #3 team in the country, the UCLA Bruins. Fresh off a come-from-behind victory in extras against rival Oregon State, the Ducks are now riding a 7-game winning streak. The 3-game series starts tomorrow at 4 p.m. at PK Park, and the Ducks will work to stay alive in the NCAA playoff race. Welcome back to Oregon News. I'm Sarah Scrivens with Sports. Oregon softball took Game 1 of the Arizona series last night, securing its share of a 3rd straight Pac-12 title in the process. Sheridan Hawkins gave up only 2 hits and struck out 8 batters in the 3-0 victory. The #1 ranked Ducks are riding a 15-game winning streak heading into the final 2 games of the regular season. Oregon put up over 90 points against Oregon State. Jonathan Lloyd said he felt like this was a momentum shift for the Ducks and that he could see them going on a run in the near future. Back in the studio, I'm Sarah Scrivens with your headlines. The Oregon Ducks have claimed the #5 spot in this week's AP poll, coming off a dominant 59-41 win over the Cal Bears at Levi's Stadium last Friday. Oregon QB Marcus Mariota completed 18 of 30 passes for 326 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Heisman frontrunner is now the program's all-time leading passer. True freshman Royce Freeman also had a pretty good night, completing his 3rd consecutive 100-yard game with 22 carries and 2 touchdowns. We're only a couple of hours away from the start of this year's Oregon Twilight Meet, taking place just across the way at Hayward Field. The Ducks will be honoring the program's 25 seniors during the final home meet of the season, and welcoming back many former Oregon track and field athletes, a combination of talent that head coach Robert Johnson is excited to witness.
Those good things, for us to be able to have our past come back and then our future that is right here going out is definitely a quiet storm coming together there.
At this time during the last few seasons, Oregon baseball players weren't wondering if they would make the postseason. The only question was how high a seed the Ducks would get. But after Tuesday's 10-2 loss at Oregon State, the Ducks sit at 27-21 on the year and are in desperate need of a hot streak over the final 12 games of the regular season. Head coach George Horton has only missed the postseason 3 times in his 23 years of coaching. He's hopeful his squad can turn it around in the next few weeks to avoid a rare early end to the season.
It's one thing to maybe lose a national seed or not be able to host a regional, and more devastating than that is not to get to play. So we're going to fight like heck to not have that feeling. It's a terrible feeling.
It seems to be a pretty sheer proposal, really resting on one of the core values of college football. It's an aggressive sport by nature. No matter what you do in the name of player safety is going to prevent some issues, but at the same time, there is still going to be plenty of opportunity for players to be injured. Oregon Track and Field went up to Pullman, Washington this weekend to take part in the Pac-12 Track and Field Championships. The Ducks will be coming home with both the men and women's titles. 3 Ducks picked up their 3rd consecutive Pac-12 championships in their events. Sam Krauser in the javelin, Phyllis Francis in the 400, and Laura Raisler in the 800. Jenna Prandini set a meet and school record in the 200 and brought home titles in 3 individual events. We are just 2 days away from the return of the NBA regular season here in Portland. The Trailblazers host the Oklahoma City Thunder this Wednesday. OKC will be without all-star forward Kevin Durant, who underwent foot surgery earlier this month. Oregon basketball is getting a little help next season thanks to the addition of transfer guard Dylan Ennis. The former Villanova guard shot 41% from the field and 31% from beyond the arc last season. Ennis started all 36 games last season and is eligible to play immediately. After breaking onto Eugene's sports scene a year ago, Lane United FC is getting ready to kick off its 2nd season. Matt Scotton has a story. Lane United opens its season tonight at 6 against Tacoma's South Sound FC at the Willamette Center. The University of Oregon club wrestling team held its first practices this week. The group has been working to become official since last winter, and the next month of practices will be evaluated before they're officially a university club sport. The next step for the team is recruiting more wrestlers, and organizers also have hopes of hosting a tournament next year for other Oregon collegiate programs. The University of Oregon varsity wrestling program was cut in 2007. Sarah Scrivens for Comcast Sportsnet here at Providence Park, where the Portland Timbers just suffered a 4-2 loss against their rivals from up north, the Seattle Sounders. Sarah Scrivens here at Providence Park with your Morning Minute. Big day here for the Portland Thorns as they took down the Seattle Reign 1-0 off a header by forward Alex Morgan. The Thorns are now headed to the playoffs, starting with their first matchup against Kansas City at Kansas City next weekend. Shoot-arounds are just a normal part of life for Oregon sophomore Liz Brenner. This past month, she was selected by Sports Illustrated as a candidate for the prestigious title of Female College Athlete of the Year. Though she didn't win the overall competition, Brenner was still thrilled to receive the nomination.
I had no idea until my sister called me up and was like, you need to go to sportsillustrated.com and look at this. And I was like, what? But no, that is absolutely so cool. You know, it's like you're a little kid and you grow up reading Sports Illustrated magazine and everything and seeing all the amazing athletes in there, and to be nominated for something like this is just pretty unbelievable.
Brenner is the first female athlete that the university has seen since 1973, and the schedule keeps her busy.
A regular day, I'll have volleyball practice from 8 to 11, and then I'll have track practice from noon to 1, and then I'll have class from 2 to 3:20.
Though many consider Brenner's feats challenging, she draws inspiration from her supportive and athletic family.
We're a very athletic and competitive family, so I've just learned to be that way. They've just been amazing, my support system, and have been at pretty much every one of my games, every home game for sure, and even travel on the road sometimes. So I think just, I like making them proud and doing it for them.
Now the question on everyone's mind is, will Brenner be able to maintain this high level of play during the rest of her career?
Absolutely. I definitely plan on playing 3, and it will probably stay the same that it was this year with volleyball, basketball, and track.